Well, friends and family, I have something important to share with you. The Mr. Beast situation. Quick question. Who knows anything about Mr. Beast right now? What do you know?
He's got a meal at Zaxby's.
He's got a meal at Zaxby's.
He's a YouTube sensation.
Okay. Awesome. Well, not anymore. All right. Mr. Beast is canceled officially. Not really, but a lot of people are frustrated with him. So here's what happens. For those of you who don't know, obviously I'm not going to go too much into who this guy is or girl. Ava Chris Tyson is what she being going by. They, them. Basically, what all kickstarted most of this was this person right here transitioned from being a man to a woman about 1.5 years ago. And, you know, Mr. Beast got pretty upset that people were making fun of her, him, and all sorts of things. And he was like, stop being transphobic to my friend. And all these things were happening. Well, just recently, it was leaked. Some Discord comments, some really bad allegations came out. And it's pretty confirmed that Ava Chris Tyson, which is what they are being addressed by now, is officially a terrible human being. So Mr. Beast comes out with a statement on Twitter a couple days late saying, over the last few days, I've become aware of the serious allegations of Ava Tyson's behaviors online, and I'm disgusted and opposed to such unacceptable acts. So everyone's like, okay, good on Jimmy.
Yeah.
You know, good on him. Finally doing
that's
this.
His name?
Yep. So his name's Mr. Beast, but his real name's Jimmy Donaldson.
What did Ava do? That was
So
bad.
one of the things was they were messaging really inappropriate stuff to minors under the age of 18, which is obviously illegal. But another thing, though, too, was he was caught very clearly having animated pornography of children, essentially. So Mr. Beast didn't know that while he was also living with Chris during this entire time. So it's very actually obvious that Jimmy did know the entire time. They just covered it up really well, and they didn't really,
How do you
it didn't
know
ever
that?
come to light. Well,
Maybe Ava hid it really well.
in a video where Mr. Beast, it was on YouTube. It was actually just taken down after all this came out. There was a video where there was a very inappropriate animated image on the room wall of like the room they're all sitting in. And this is the house they used to live in. So it was just like pretty obvious.
Where they lived.
Yes. So
Wow.
this is pretty bad stuff. So it's very
Yeah,
kind of
so
like there's...
obviously he knew.
Yeah, it's kind of cut and dry. This is not good. Okay. So, yeah, so this was Chris, and he was Mr. Beast's first subscriber. He was his best friend, and a lot of people were just saying, like, dude, this guy kind of had it all, and now he's, like, single-handedly ruining Mr. Beast's reputation all these years later. Truth comes out. What's actually crazy is Chandler, currently, he's one of Mr. Beast's friends, and he actually now posts a Bible verse every day on TikTok. He reads it, talks about it. So he's like starting to become a Christian now, which has been pretty cool.
Oh, that is cool.
Mm-hmm. Well, this guy decided to take it a step further. So this is Dogpack 404. This isn't actually him, but basically a few weeks, actually not even a few weeks. It was like a few days.
Cute.
Yeah, he is cute, isn't he? A few days after that all took place, everyone's kind of like learning, okay, Ava Chris Tyson, yeah, they are a pretty bad individual. Like, we don't even want to think about them. This guy releases a video, and he was at, when I first saw his channel, it was like at 500 subscribers. So now he's at 500,000. He posted this video on YouTube, and he posted this one on TikTok ahead of this video launching.
Is there an FBI raid going on? What's happening? Oh, I promise you on everything, Mr. Beast is.
Because basically, Mr. Beast has an Amazon show coming out called Mr. Beast Games. Mr. Beast is saying it's going to be like the best game show ever. Now, funny enough, I don't have this included in the slideshow, so I'm going to share it now. What's crazy is this game show was taking place. Do you have a question? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. What is it?
He wants to know if what Mr. Beast did.
So, basically, yeah, I'll go back to this. Basically, in the Mr. Beast games, this guy, yeah.
Is he in danger?
Is he in danger?
Yeah.
No, he's fine. He's going to be just okay. basically Mr. Beast games took place in Las Vegas, and there's been all these reports of people coming in to hospitals having like broken arms, bruised legs, like coming to the emergency room because of the Mr. Beast games. Apparently, the safety wasn't like very set up well, and so they're like, dude, I don't know if this is gonna go over too well. I don't think they're running this very well as a production. So he launches this video. It's almost an hour long, and it's now at 13 million views. That's insane. But some of the things he addresses and he claims in this video are things such as faking videos, even though Mr. Beast has promised everybody for years and years and years, all of our videos are 100% real. Like, we don't fake anything, yada, yada, yada. He promises anyone can be in their video in casting calls. He's like, hey, subscribe and you could be in this video. However, this guy exposes that it's mainly just friends and family, and it's very selective about who can be in videos. It's not just like any subscriber. Some of this was kind of like semantics a little bit. It's like, okay, well, who actually cares? Like, he's trying to have a good video, but it makes sense. But there's like clearly staged moments that are seen as real when they're really not. And one of the biggest things that he actually released in this video was the fact that Mr. Beast was running illegal lotteries. So one thing he was doing was he was live streaming him signing t-shirts, and he would be like, hey, who wants to buy a t-shirt? I'm signing them. And as he would sign them, he'd be like, if you want to win this car, I'll give you this car too if you buy in the next 5 minutes. And then you would see him like put keys in like a box, but they actually weren't really keeping track of any of that. And it was kind of like he breaks down like the difference between a lottery and a giveaway and what's illegal and allowed in the country. And it's clearly he was just doing stuff. He was just trying to make money, and he was being really smart about it. At least whenever I watched that all happen, I was like, oh, that's a really smart thing to do. But when you actually dig into whether it's legal or not, it's actually not, because it was playing into the psychology of the buyer. He had people on his team faking his signature. So people were buying signed T-shirts by Mr. Beast, but it actually wasn't signed by him. It was fake. He knowingly manipulates kids' brains using psychological triggers. So they teach everyone on staff like how kids' minds work and how to manipulate them to do what they want. So, for example, go buy chocolate bars, to click and comment and like and watch the video all the way through, all these sorts of things. He knows his audience is children and knowingly promotes gambling to them, which I'll get to in a little bit. Promotes chocolate to kids and then claims it's healthier than Hershey's when it's really actually worse for them than Hershey's. Don't worry, buddy. We're not going to let Mr. Beast get near you.
This is very traumatic.
Did he respond to that video?
No. So this is what's crazy. The only thing that we've heard from Mr. Beast HQ is this tweet right here. And this is this guy who works for Mr. Beast. And he's like, hey, I'm just going to debunk this video real quick. I'm just gonna prove to you that this guy has no idea what he's talking about. And so he kind of starts debunking things, but I'm not going to read out the entire tweet because there's even more. But when you actually look at what this guy's doing, he's not actually debunking the tweets, and he's basically just trying to do a character assassination, because they were claiming that he was on drugs and also just so he doesn't really know what he was talking about. He only technically worked for Mr. Beast for like 4 months. So they were saying he was actually just a bad employee, so they're trying to make it seem like he was just salty.
Oh. And that's what he feels about that.
So basically, the claims were just trying to debunk these claims, and it didn't actually work out too well. And people were just like, that's dumb. Basically, there's another thread that he shares, which I'll basically just explain, is Mr. Beast was basically he went to Australia and told everyone, like, hey kids, like, if you buy my chocolate bar, you can get a chance to win this thing, kind of like Willy Wonka style. Well, you would scan the QR code and it would put like a literal slot machine on the screen in front of you. And there's examples of, and most of the time you click the button and then it doesn't line up and they're like, oh, buy another candy bar and try again. But then there's examples of someone getting 3 Lamborghinis in a row, which to your mind would mean, oh, I get a Lamborghini. And then it just says, oops, something happened wrong, try again later. So really none of it actually mattered, and he was just essentially promoting gambling to children this way.
Oh, wow. And then they never really won.
Right. And so here's another example. Rosanna Pansino, 3 years ago, was in this video, $300,000 influencer trivia, and she got flamed on the internet for whining and complaining because he was giving away $300,000, and he rigged the tournament. He rigged it so that way the D'Amelio girls would win, and made it to where she was just a random creator, and she just basically got rigged out of the tournament, kind of scripted and so she kind of like complained. She's like, this was rigged, like what the heck? But everyone ganged up on her and was like, you're just salty because you lost, like stop complaining. But now she's starting to kind of like come back, and now she's leading the charge and like reporting on a lot of this and basically being like, I was unfairly treated during this whole situation for something that was clearly supposed to be fair, but it really wasn't.
So are you trying to explain to us that Mr. Beast is just not as good as you thought he was?
Yeah, exactly. So
why are you trying to do that?
Well, everyone else is doing this, but I thought I'd just let you guys know.
Why can't we just believe in the good in people?
Well, see, I'll get to what I believe at the very end of this, okay? Because I think I'm pretty fair on this. I'm just trying to share with you the facts of what is being shown right now. So Dogpack shows that he gets ordered to cease and desist, and he, in fact, refuses to cease and desist. So what's crazy is all this starts happening, no response from Mr. Beast, and then he posts a video. And everyone's like, pretty bold of Mr. Beast to post a video in the midst of all this stuff. However, it still gets 150 million views. So it's kind of like a lot of people are thinking, like, is this the downfall of Mr. Beast? And it probably isn't, because this isn't even like a poor performing video for him. This is still a really good performing video. So I think what's probably going to happen is Mr. Beast is just going to have to be like, whoops. And then he's going to carry on his day, I think. I think that's all most people are looking for, too. However, like, I think most people, like you and me, would think, just admit and say you're sorry, and then be like, yeah, I'm sorry, I messed up. We'll try and do better. And then keep going. We'll forgive you. But what's crazy is the amount of covering up he's still doing. And that's what's kind of concerning people. So, for example, okay. So then Dogpack 404 comes and releases a second video. He says he's a sociopath. And this video was actually just one big interview of another guy named Jake Weddle, who used to work for Mr. Beast. And basically all he did was explain and dive into how awful this video he was a part of was, where he was like trapped in a grocery store or something for like 100 days. And Mr. Beast was kind of like, it's your typical Mr. Beast video, but from Jake's perspective, he was like literally tortured in a way because they wouldn't turn off the lights, which is apparently not even standard protocol for torturing like prisoners of war. Essentially, you have to give them time to sleep and rest, and Mr. Beast didn't even do that. So there's kind of like all this random stuff that he breaks down. But shortly after this video is released, we get this leaked email from Mr. Beast where he basically, the example of this is him basically saying, hey, I'm going to be turning over a new leaf. We're going to change some things in this business. I'm going to make sure we fix this and it never happens again. So a lot of people are like, was it really a leaked email? Like, I don't know. And so Rosanna Pansino mentions that Mr. Beast has hired this crisis management company. And they began his PR career at Weinstein's, yada, yada, yada. Shortly after Mr. Beast hired Matthew, a Mr. Beast company email was leaked. So they believe this is like their first step in like building back a positive image for Mr. Beast. This was the guy who was in the video. He's basically saying how much Mr. Beast ruined his life, essentially. And I think that's all I got for us. That's all we know now. So what do you guys think?
I think that have we questioned that the guy didn't get, somehow he's not trying a vendetta against Mr. Beast?
That's a good question. I think that's
What
likely.
do we know? What do we know about the guy who's accused?
The
of it?
one thing we do know is he hasn't broken his NDA. So he has an NDA, and he's pushed all of his videos by his lawyers, and his lawyers have basically made sure all of his videos are not breaking NDA. None of his videos are monetized, so he's not making any money off of this yet. You know, he could eventually probably, but he could be salty. He could just be salty. That is definitely an option.
And then, it is kind of weird that they have what kind of like a real salty I mean, not salty picture, but not appropriate picture in their house, right?
Well, they did at one point in time. So
maybe not now.
not now. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you think, Jenny?
I think that nobody's perfect.
This is true.
And when your company gets bigger and bigger, there's going to be cracks.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think he's a bad guy.
Yeah.
I think he's just trying to make good videos, and maybe he has to get more friends and family in his videos, and then someone's going to be like, oh, but you said blah, blah, blah. And then people are just going to be mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. I think there's more to come, apparently. Like, there's some allegations of, like, sexual assault within the company and stuff that's going to be dropping. He's doing, like, way more videos that he's going to be releasing. And a lot of these are actually ex-employees coming forward and sharing their stories. So it's not just him, which will be interesting to hear. However, could this just be a bunch of people, like, tired of the Golden Boy getting all of his glory, and they're trying to team up? And because there could be other people who are like me, who are kind of like pissed off by Mr. Beast because he did this one thing and wasn't super nice to them at one point in time, or it wasn't even him. Maybe it was like his company, and now they're just salty. That could be the case. But I agree with you too, Jenny. This could be just a lot of growing pains because he's only 26 years old. Mr. Beast is. And I remember when I was 26 years old and I had no idea what I was doing. Especially someone
But
who's...
now that you're 30.
Now that I'm 30, I know so much more about what I'm doing. Like if I was 30 and I was running this business, it would just be lights out for the haters because I am doing really good. So I would know what to do. But I'm not Mr. Beast, and he's 26 and he's a young kid still. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just feel like people got to cut him some slack.
Yeah. And he's never run a huge business before, and he's... Oh, not it.
This is what he has to say about
What do you have to say?
He's trying to eat it.
What? What?
it. He's like,
All right. That's it.